Hello, this is the SOG Pocket Powerplier. This is a medium-sized, light-duty kind of multi-tool designed for pocket or sheath carry. It's made by SOG in America. It is 4 inches long. It weighs 148 grams, which is about 5 ounces. This is the tool next to the Leatherman Super Tool 300 and next to a Leatherman Squirt PS4. So the tool's side view. So it's quite thin compared to the rather beastly Super Tool 300. It's made of all stainless steel. All the tools are on the inside and it is plier based. Let's open it up and have a look. Very smooth opening. A needle nose plier head tip. Very slender. You've got some good gripping sections. They start very close together and they get a bit wider apart. Then you've got your nailing for turning bolts, and then you have your wire cutters. And there's the cat. Off you go, cat. This compound leverage system, if you have a look at it from this side, you'll see the pliers turn with these bits here. I'll just grab a pointer. So these bits here, that's the base of the pliers. But when you turn them, these aren't spinning gears, these are just steel gears that are part of the handle. However, they do interlock as you open the plier. So it pretty much means that the plier is locked, like the further you go, it's locking into place there. Each little tooth forming a little fist, sort of going like that. Apparently it makes for about a 3 or at least 2 times stronger grip, or that you need to pinch the handles only half as tightly to get the desired wire cutting or pinching or pliering function. All the tools on this one are on the inside. Got a file. This file has a fairly fine, or you could say weak, cut on the mill side. The bastard side, cross-cut side or the cross-hatch side, that's a little bit better, but there isn't a great deal of it. They have gone to the effort of making this a proper machine screwdriver, which I guess is nice. So that's a large screwdriver there. All these tools are on slip joints, so all that's holding them in place is this bit of rigid metal here. The next tool is the awl, which is a very fierce and sharp awl. You need to be careful not to cut yourself or poke yourself on this one. The point is ridiculously sharp. Quite a good awl. One of the better ones I've come across on a multi-tool, on a plier-based multi-tool anyway. And the other tool on here is your can opener / small screwdriver combination tool. I don't have a great need for can openers. Most cans I eat from have the ring pull opens, but I guess it's nice to have at least one somewhere near the house. This one should work quite well. It's got a thin enough blade and it's got a little tiny screwdriver on the end, perhaps for your glasses or really small flathead screws. You'll notice there's somewhat of an empty slot there. That's because when you close these pliers, the pliers are offset, so they shut right to the edge of the tool in there. See? That's so when you open them, you can get pretty much, or a bit closer to being flush with things. See, so they slant down, and that is intentional. It's so you can do your cutting closer to the things. On the other side, you've got 3 more tools. You've got a knife blade. These tools clump, as you probably notice. You have a knife blade that comes out. The lock itself, or the slip joint is quite strong, but once the knife gets to here, it's very, very maneuverable. So it does sort of take away the confidence a bit when you open it. You think, oh, this is a bit crummy, but then you get here, it does lock in place nicely. It's a fairly sharp knife. Combo blade, which I think is fine for a tool of this size. It's chisel ground, however. So it's sort of taken perhaps the cheap option there. Most multi-tools of this size, you get a double bevel on your knife. But for what you're probably going to use this knife for, which may not be a great deal at all, unless this is going to be the only tool you carry, it'll probably be fine. Next tool is a flathead and bottle opener type tool, very similar to Victorinox's Swiss Army knife from the Swiss Army knife opener layer. Flathead's nicely machined. It's good. And the last tool is a Phillips that is 3D where it matters most, at the head. This is still quite a thick piece of steel, so it's not going to be bending on you. It's a good quality, fairly fine point Phillips. In terms of tool loadout, you probably notice that there's a lack of scissors. That's the thing about SOG though, is that these are quite modifiable, and the SOG is encouraging of people who wish to do so by being able to buy and trading within the individual handle parts. For example, I intend on getting rid of this file because I rarely use files and this one isn't particularly good, and putting some scissors in it. You could also perhaps take out the knife blade, put in a strap cutter, or put in the file, or take the knife blade out and put in the scissors, you know. So as long as you've got 2 big tool spaces, and the rest of them have to be the smaller tools to fit the plier head in this empty area here. In terms of overall comfort, it's reasonable. It's not good, it's not bad, but it's reasonable. Holding the pliers like this, people often complain it's got these sharp edges. I'm not too bothered by them. Maybe I just have harder hands, or perhaps I just hold it in a certain way that it doesn't bother me too much. Perhaps if you're using this for hours at a time, it might give you some problems, but I think the nature of these light use pocket multi-tools is that they're just going to be for individual little tasks as you come across them. You're not going to set aside this as your go-to tool for a day of rigging or fencing. Look on the outside, it's got SOG specialty knives and tools, patent numbers. On the other side you've got a metric and imperial ruler, which handily shows the size of the multi-tool as 4 inches. Another problem that people often complain about is when they get a tool out to use and they're using the tool, that these gears are uncomfortable in the palm of your hand. And as you can see, they have left a few indentations. But again, as you're only going to be using this most likely for on-the-spot little instances of saving the day, I don't think you'll be using it for so often and such a prolonged period that that's going to really cause you a blister or anything like that. It is just slightly uncomfortable. They do make a Paladin Tools version of this that SOG makes for Paladin Tools. I think it's discontinued. It has a different tool as opposed to the awl. I think they've taken the awl out and put in some sort of electrician's tool. And they've covered the gears with a metal gear cover. Overall fit and finish though I think is very good. Comes in a nice leather sheath, which has good thick leather, rivet construction. My only gripe is that they've gone for a plastic button snap, which I do wonder why, because it just seems a little bit breakable to me. But I think this is still a perfectly pocketable tool. You could fold out the lanyard ring, hang a lanyard out of your pocket, and have this at the bottom of your pocket. These are rough, but they're not sharp to the point they're going to cut your pants up. You may want to not have it in the same pocket as your phone though. So there we have the SOG Pocket Powerplier. I'm really happy with it. I've had a couple of other medium-sized or light-duty multi-tools come through, so perhaps I'll do a comparison in the near future about which is the best. Thank you for watching the SOG Pocket Powerplier review. Thanks.